The Oklahoma City Thunder made a shocking move in last night's loss to the Dallas Mavericks 104-92 as a certain starting player was not in the starting lineup anymore and instead played his first bench game ever in the NBA. What up? It's Bryson Akins here with another Thunder Digest video for you guys today. Before we get into all this though, just want to take a moment, recognize we're at 667 subscribers, trying to reach 700 by the end of the week. I think we can hit that goal very easily. So like I mentioned before, if you enjoy the content and you find yourself coming back, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy this kind of content, leave a like and a comment in the video and let me know if you kind of agree with leaving this guy out of the starting lineup or if you think he should move back in. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get into this video now. As many of you guys saw either in last night's reaction video to the game or while watching the game or just following along on social media, Josh Giddey was not in the starting lineup. This was his first game in his NBA career in 220 games where he was not a starter. This was the first time coming off the bench for him, and it was a move a lot of fans were wanting to happen in this series against the Dallas Mavericks, as he has been struggling against this team. Even I admitted it, that I think he would do better coming off the bench for us this series. And so there's already been articles that have gone out about it that we're going to look over. We're also going to look at his stats from last night and compare them to his stats when he was a starter. And so we'll go ahead and go ahead with this first one from Thunderwire. The Oklahoma City Thunder made the surprising move of benching Josh Giddey in favor of Isaiah Joe ahead of their Game 5 matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. This marked the first time in Giddey's career he'd come off the bench. It's been a heavily discussed possibility all series as the Mavericks have elected to ignore the 21-year-old from the perimeter, daring him to shoot shots. Alas, the change in starters didn't change much. The Thunder had another slow start, and offensive woes continue to plague them. Joe had 6 points on 2 of 9 shooting. That was Isaiah Joe's stats, who started over him. Giddey actually had a decent game off the bench, which we'll talk about. Comparing it to his stats before, we will talk about it. And it was also, like that, as I mentioned, a comedic twist of irony. He was arguably OKC's second best player in their Game 5 loss. He was definitely up there. I would say he was our third best player. I feel like Chet played a little bit better than him, even though he didn't really rebound all that well. However, Giddey was definitely one of our best players in that loss last night. We're going into the next section of this article, talking about Mark Daigneault and his decisions to bench Giddey and start Joe. Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault talked about the decision to bench Giddey, saying it was to give the rest of the starters more space to work with, as the Mavericks would respect Joe's outside shot. His exact quote, "Gave us a chance to get back into some normal attacks on offense," Daigneault said on the decision to bench Giddey. "Shake the game up a little bit with the opponent and try to generate some flow to start." So if you guys heard that, that's my brother in the background. I'm back home for the summer right now, and so you guys might be hearing him or seeing him a little bit more if we do live streams, if we keep on going to the playoffs or come NBA draft time. But we'll continue with this. Shake the game up a little bit with the opponent and try to generate some flow to start. It also gives Josh's second unit minutes to playmaker a little bit. So what changed between the first 4 games of the series and Game 5 to force Daigneault's hand to make the lineup adjustment? He didn't reveal the exact details, but explained the timing of the choice. "Considering all the information before every single game and treating every game as its own life, I just wasn't comfortable doing it up until now." So it's been a thought. He says there it's been a thought. He just didn't feel comfortable until in Game 5. At the end of the day, I'm making a lot of different decisions. They're not all going to be right or wrong. That's a key part of this series and game at the moment. There's a lot of decisions going into it that look like they're working out well, and there's also some that aren't. Example, Josh Giddey being off the bench, it clearly worked well last night, but Isaiah Joe starting in a spot, it didn't work well. I personally would have rather saw Aaron Wiggins or Cason Wallace, even though he did have an off game, start there because Cason Wallace provides more defense for us, and I feel like Aaron Wiggins is a great, I don't want to say playmaker, he has a good shot, he's good all around. He has good aspects to every part of his game. I feel like that would have been the right option to start over Josh Giddey instead of Isaiah Joe. There's also another article here, I believe is on Bleacher Report. They're talking about Josh Giddey being benched, but as we saw Wednesday, the Thunder's offensive woes weren't solved by a single lineup change. They're much deeper than that. The best three-point shooting team in the regular season, 38.9% in the regular season, by the way, staged a brickfest in Bricktown, 10 of 40, continuing a series-long drought from behind the arc. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, yet again, was OKC's only reliable source of offense. Jalen Williams waited too long to get going. Dort went 2 of 8 from long range, which is a whole nother topic by itself. So too did Isaiah Joe, who started in Giddey's place. So as you can see there, the problem wasn't Giddey in the starting lineup. That wasn't the problem. Sure, it did affect it a little bit because he wasn't playing well in the starting 5. However, that wasn't the main problem. It wasn't. And you guys in the comment sections have said this game's not on Giddey, it's not all in him. And I agree with you guys. I never said it was. Never said that these losses have been on Giddey. It's a collective as a unit. It is. Giddey is just part of that unit that wasn't helping out at all. Last night, though, in the loss, he was helping us out. He was playing very well off the bench like I said he would. I said he would be a better option off the bench for us against the Mavs just because I feel like he doesn't really match up well against the Mavs. There are teams he matches up well against and other teams he doesn't. It's just a matter of the fact, as the Mavs, he doesn't do well against them as a starter. He just doesn't, just being honest about it. And when you look at his stats, which we'll go ahead and bring up right now, you can see that there's improvement, especially if you watch the game and how he's playing. He's been improving. Sure, the stats don't tell the whole story, but watching him, how he played defense, he's staying in front of guys. He's putting his hands up. He's contesting shots. He feels more comfortable out there as well, and he's getting the same amount of minutes as in that Game 1 win. In 17 minutes, he only had 2 points and only took 4 shots. Only took 4 shots from the field there. He also had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, which helps out, and he somehow had a block, which surprised me. In the Game 2 loss, when we lost by 9, he only had 8 points, went 50% from the field, but didn't have an assist or didn't really do much else besides, getting those 3 buckets there. In the Game 3 loss as well by 4, he had 9 points, went 50% from the field. He shot more shots there, shot 8 times, made a 3-pointer as well. But once again, everything else kind of lackluster. In the Game 4 win, he went 25% from the field, only had 5 points, made a 3. But once again, everything else wasn't rebounding all that great. So he didn't have any defensively, played decently. But then finally, in this Game 5 loss, we lost the game and everything. And his box score, he shot so much better from the field, 62%, went 1 of 3 from 3. 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Defensively, he didn't get any blocks or steals, but he was playing well. He was staying in front of guys. He was contesting shots. He was helping out. He didn't feel like a liability at all that game. He was cutting, good off-ball movement. And so, in general, I feel like he played well and had 11 points. I think he was our 3rd leading scorer that game. 3rd or 4th, one of the 2. He was playing very well off the bench like I said he would. Like a lot of people thought and knew he would. He just played better off the bench. And in this series against the Mavs, I feel like that's what we have to do. It's just a matter of figuring out who's going to start in that place Game 6. Because I feel like Isaiah Joe shouldn't start. I feel like he shouldn't. I think Aaron Wiggins is our best option to start in his place. Gives us a little bit of size. He can play defense well. He shoots the ball well. He drives well. He has decent handles. I feel like that would be our best option. I wouldn't mind Cason Wallace either. Or another option, people have said put J. Will in the starting lineup, help out with size and is that Chet Holmgren's going to have to pretty much play the whole game. And in is Josh Giddey, and that's not going to cut it. So I feel like Jay Will should stay on the bench. He provides that size and strength off the bench for us. And then, like I mentioned, Aaron Wiggins should be in that starting lineup, I feel like. And then our bench rotation should be Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe. Gives us the best chance to win Game 6 and then 7 and go on to the Western Conference Finals. However, I don't know everything. I don't know what Coach Mark Daigneault is going to do. I don't know. There could be a lot of options going into this. We could say Jay will start. We could see Josh Giddey move back into that starting role. What I do know, though, is he plays better off the bench against the Mavericks, and I feel like we saw that in last night's outing, and I feel like we should see more of that. And maybe an increase in minutes off the bench, maybe up to 16. I feel like that would really help us out as a team. But I'm interested in what you guys think. In the comment section, let me know if you agree with this, if you guys have other, options that we think we should go to in the playoffs per se. But I'll catch you guys in the next video.